what we are going through in the crypto market right now is one of the biggest storm which the crypto has ever seen. The way we look at this, it's really going to hurt a lot of different projects. The depth of that will be based on how much money went in. Now, one thing which is positive is now you don't have anything to give back. They invested the money in you are succeeding, great. They failed, that's okay. But if they own you, they bought that, then there is trouble coming in the way. Because they own it, now while going through the process, they need to sell their assets and close the liabilities. So understand which projects are there, because even the giants in this ecosystem is having hard time understanding what to do. They've been talking about this is going to be the safest place, and the way it turned out, it's not good. But right now, he's really hungry for regulations. He's saying, I'm going to fly to Washington. I don't know how, but I'm going to make this happen now. But can it happen? Maybe, but it can take more time. But what's more interesting is how things are changing. If we are here in this market and we are looking at all this stuff, these kind of shows us like the real drama is about to start. The SEC right now, they're not doing any job. If they were, after meeting these guys, they should have looked through, when you talk about risk associated with custodying these securities, they don't even understand what a security is, what a crypto is, and what goes through this system. So right now, yes, you get a lot of different news, and you will see a lot of different ecosystem being shaken. Let it be NFT side of this one. Let it be exchanges, which are really small, having volume issues. Right now, the market is scared, and a lot of people who had money in the exchanges are pulling it off, as we've been talking about this from ages. Hold your tokens. Maybe 5, 10, 15% you can drop in different exchanges, but not all of it. You don't want to risk that one, because right now, what we are observing here with dollar is something huge. Now, yes, we did talk about these from some time, saying, yeah, dollar is going to drop from here, and that drop is going to give real push to the crypto market. But what happened? As dollar started dropping heavily on the same date, the FTX blew up. So right now, instead of running the way up, we are dropping. And is that drop completed yet? No one knows. But right now, it does seem like you broke a critical support for Bitcoin. So how is this going to impact other assets, especially the altcoins? What are you going to look at in next couple of months for altcoins? Because not every altcoins are the same, and the way they react to this market is different. Yes, you can look at them in different time and see like, okay, some of them are holding, some of them are breaking, some of them show it can break to the downside. But end of the day, the general market is still holding something here. But there are concerns, right, which we'll have to go through. We'll discuss through that in this episode. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal common retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of the world. Now, as we look at this, say this is XLM. It is also dropping. We can see that short-term support has been broken. You are just below that, and you are inside this macro pattern. Whereas XRP, for that time frame, is holding that short-term support and inside the macro pattern as well. So all of these are in a good structure where it is still holding the macro pattern. Few have even broken this one. Now that's concerning. But if you are in assets which are still holding on to this pattern, that's okay, that's good. But what you are looking at is a reduction in strength as well. This is the RSI, and XRP for that matter wicked all the way down, but right now you're holding back up, which is a good news. Why? Because when you compare it with other assets, you're seeing them breaking to the downside, which does not really look good. At least for the short term, this won't look good. And one of the biggest issue for that would be like if you see a lot of different projects inside this, and these people had a lot of money and they have investments in that, and that need to be dissolved to get the liquidity to solve this crisis, that means they'll have to sell those tokens. It can really shake the market for some of these assets. So it does matter where their money is and where it is heavy, because there are a lot of different projects which you see where the money went in from them. So you need to actually look at that and see if your portfolio is like 5% of that, it's okay. It's completely fine. Say people like us who are heavily in XRP, XLM, HBAR, Quant and all, fundamental tokens, these guys never invest in that one. They go for the risky ones. So if your risk profile is just 5% and that's being affected, it's okay. If it's 10%, it's okay. It shouldn't be 50, 60%. That's the key to succeed in this market as we go further. Because as you look through this one, Kevin is kind of giving you that narrative, okay, this one is really great, but we know what happened. And right now he's talking about, yes, we need clear regulations right now, or else institutions are not gonna put more money into this. So then you come here, you go to the market, and you really want to see like, okay, how much of this market is right now waiting in stable coins? Are they really running out, or are they going to come back into the market? Because this is really concerning in my thought process, like USDT flowing to exchanges. Fine, so we are here sitting there asking like, okay, that's a lot of movement in stable coin, right? So the first thing which a normal guy would ask is like, are they really jumping out of the market? Now that's where for me, I see a light. I'm like, okay, in that total amount, say total USDT flows is like 8.54 billion, in which 400 million is moving to the fiat exchange. So that can be retailers, small kind of whales. But on the other side, you see 6.47 billion flowing into the crypto exchanges. Guys, this is really serious. Because when you say, okay, market is going to drop another 50%, another bankruptcies are going to come. Yeah, that can happen. But these guys are not really waiting for that. They are coming into the crypto market. They're bringing in the money in, and they may wait for a confirmation for the reversal, or they may start buying here. And if they start buying here, we can see that in the market. You will see the price consolidating here. Now, if they're going to FOMO within this price, imagine guys like all the Michael Saylor towards El Salvador, they bought it at a higher price, and right now they have an opportunity to buy at this price. So if they are going to average down, you are literally going to see the price exploding, coming back into this range of $18,000, $19,000, $20,000 per Bitcoin. That is one of the biggest stuff. Say, if you say on the other side, no, the price is going to go down, okay, you need to now look at like the total supply. Are people really holding on to this one? Or it's short term? That's a real big question, because you can go look at Ether, you can go look at Bitcoin, because most of the liquidity or investments and reserves for all these exchanges, they focus on this. Now, recently I saw it was like crypto.com where they had, SHIB more than Ether. And I'm like, okay, both of them are risky for me. That's a different story. But having that much amount in them really is serious trouble. If that asset drops, that's not going to be great. So now we come back here to just see like what's happening. You see 1.92 million Ether moving into exchanges. Great. And already existing in the exchanges is like 500,000, close to that. Now, what we really want to see is how much of that actually went in towards the fiat exchanges. That's where it gets really interesting. So people are moving. Where are they moving? They're moving from Ether to some other assets. And that's like 50% up, 45 to be precise, right? And those who are moving out is way lower than those who are moving their money inside this ecosystem right now. So yes, the panic is super high. Everyone is worried. No one knows what exactly is going to come in next day or the next week. No one knows that. But right now, what is clear in the market is some of them are scared, they are moving out, but way more than that is trying to move into different assets. So they have actually done that a day before. Right now, it's 10% down. So if you genuinely think the market is going to go all the way down, now you ask that question, okay, what's the worst case scenario? Right? If Bitcoin is to drop, what do you think is going to happen? The next big support will come here around 12K. Great. But then you'll have to stay here and argue the short-term support here, which is broken right now, is going to actually pull you towards an area where your measured move is not great, right? You take this one. That's your worst case scenario. If you are a TA guy, you will put that and plot that here and say, okay, whoa, no way. If Bitcoin is to drop all the way towards 86%, that's like $2,500 per Bitcoin. If that's to happen, what we are going to observe is a lot more bankruptcies, a lot of institutions going out of the market. Now, you'll have to take two stands. Either the crypto world is going to end tomorrow, or no, I don't think so. A lot of companies are doing really well. Some of them are showing strength even in this market condition. So I think not everyone is going to go out, but they're going to move out of these assets and they're going to move into assets which really have liquidity and fundamentals. So it's really interesting. They need to move into assets where there are a lot of liquidity. It's important. Right now, looking at this one, if that's a glitch or not, I don't know. But right now, it's showing 10 billion in volume for XRP. Now, it can be that it's a glitch. So you can go to a different platform, look it up, and okay, it's 2.8 billion here. So it's not 10. But you still get the idea. We were like 700 million before. Right now, we are massively higher than that. People are still interested. Now, why is that? You come here, you look for last quarter, and they are reporting this. And they are looking for assets which are holding. And in last quarter, these are kind of okay. It's not that really bad. So you come back in, you look at all this, and you go last 1 year. You want to really see that last 1 year, these coins have been moving. So even though the market is down from $1 trillion, what we are observing right now is at this scale, right? XRP is down like 67%. Bitcoin and Ether are close to that on a yearly manner. But right now, XRP is better than Ether and Bitcoin. A tiny manner, right? It's not that huge, but it is still showing you the amount of money which is interested in this asset. Otherwise, you would have seen this asset dropping through this support all the way down to 0.2. But why is that not happening? We've talked about this hundreds of times, and people, some ask like, why do you repeat that? I'm like, if that's a fact, you can't change that. That's the same. It will not change. Until this breaks, you can't say this is a huge area where people are interested. I would say, yes, it is. Because we are observing that each time you come to that range, for this asset at that price range, people do buy. So if you are going to say, okay, there is no orders here, people are not going to buy, maybe you're going to come down, retest this 0.3 range again, and people would see opportunity and buy that. But if you break that, yes, you are coming down to 0.2, which may not look great. But what are the odds for that? It really is too low because you've been holding on to this particular level. So you are going to say like, okay, my hypothesis is this level is going to hold. And if it doesn't, then this is the case. Even at that point, what you need to clearly understand is XRP, the bear market bottom is 0.1. When Bitcoin reaches $2,000, $3,000, and that's holding that level in this market cycle, which is really great because it's not breaking through your bear market bottom. Right now, you see a lot of assets in this market where they've taken out the bear market bottom. They are dropping from there. The momentum does not look good. So it's going to hurt the project even though the project is strong. See, you're going to look at each bar Hydra, which is actually a great project. But the way you look at this in technicals, you would think that does not look good. Right? You take your measured move and you can literally plot that to the downside and say, okay, I think the price is going to come somewhere close to this. Where is that? You can plot that and say, okay, this is going to be that range, which does not actually look that good. Because now you're going towards this range. Your bear market bottom was here, so you are still doing much better than a lot of different assets inside this. But your trend is like this. Your pattern is this. You just broke this level of your previous support during the Luna crash. Now the FTX crash is bringing you below that. That's where, I'm like, okay, even though not a lot of people would say, okay, this is better, that's better, I personally think XRP is better. Fine. And in price action, it does seems like a lot of people want to buy this asset. So that's on a 3-day chart. Now you zoom in on a daily chart and you look like what's happening. And this is the only area I'm trying to see whether we can follow the history. When we cross down, yes, the price goes down. It's not something new. We've talked about this. And from the top, you drop kind of like 20-25%. But what we saw recently, that the price drops 34%, it's the panic. It's the extension because of that fear in the market, not the actual price fluctuation due to the thought process of people. It's just panic, right? So if you can retest this range of 0.3 and bounce from here, that's going to be a huge thing for the market. If not, then you are going to say, okay, 200-day moving average was broken. You went back into that range, retested that and got rejected. But if you're bouncing from here, now you can put the argument that, yes, I do think this cross here pushed the price lower and the volatility came in from FTX issue. But right now we are slowly going back up. But the entire market, when it drops, XRP cannot go up alone. At least the general market here should be slowly trending to the upside. Now, there are exceptions to this. We have seen, say for example, SNX. We have seen Link at a time when the entire market was slow, entire market was going through bad times. These assets were actually going all the way back up. It actually went up all the way when we were having that crash, bear market and all. Like we in XRP made a bottom here, March 2020. For them, it was just a correction before the next leg up. You were already massively up. So we cannot actually say there are no exceptions. Everything is going to go down. You do have to see there are assets which has moved higher when the entire market is dropping. So you have seen Link, which actually did that. Now you're observing a lot of different coins dropping and some of them holding. So if you are here and you're trying to make a judgment of, okay, I do see this and I don't think it's going to be great, because a lot of people which you see as highly credible, high net worth individuals, they've been talking about all this. Say Luna, Solana, and look at this one, Alameda. That's great. You need to check up on who ran those institutions and who laid that one. Say if you need a proper institution, first if you remember, we did series of video on a whiteboard session where we talked about what you should be looking at before you invest in. One of the primary stuff there is the leaders of that project. And for that one, I really don't think, maybe it's just me, but I really don't think that was a great leader who understand trading. That was a hedge fund. It's not a mutual fund, it's a hedge fund. The risk associated there is heavy. And that now just happened. Then I actually saw one tweet which is actually interesting. So right now you kind of get a lot of speculation, but there is a lot of interconnection. There can be something, and huge possibilities that they can be innocent too. But things are looking like this. It does not look really great. Because at a time when you see the entire market on the other side, the stock market going up, dollar dropping like stone, crypto should have had a best month next 30 days. But instead, we are suffering because of mismanagement from some crazy guys. I don't want to put some bad words there. So, trying to balance myself. Here, if you are in the market and you're trying to look at any asset for that matter, you will first look at Ether because a lot of people do hold Bitcoin and then Ether. Ether is trying to hold on to this level. What is key here is it closed below this. This is a 3-day chart. So if you go on a daily chart, you will observe that it closed within that. Right now, you're testing to break back higher or get rejected. So if you're getting rejected, you're coming lower. You can come towards $900, $970 in Ether. Instead, if you're bouncing, the argument is, okay, this support held and you're bouncing. That would be a great thing to see if you make a higher high. Now, I'm not a fan of this project, but a lot of people and institution believe it is because the elbow guy thinks like, okay, the SEC is doing great. Where a lot of other people may not agree with that right now. They will all say SEC need a lot of work to do. They need to be working hard. But there will be someone who says, okay, SEC is a friend to the market. The laws are clear when it is really not. So if you are here in the market right now, guys, take time, learn what's happening. It's really important. This is one of the craziest time in the crypto history for last 10, 12 years. You are looking at this and saying, okay, this does not look good for a lot of different assets. You really have to go look at assets where the volume is increasing. That's actually fine. If the volume is dropping like a stone, that does not look good. You need to also watch like how many of this is buying and how many of this is selling. Because you look at this one. Right now, the volume is not really great. That's like the future, 5 years, 10 years, who knows how long it's going to take. But that's the staked amount of Ether on that protocol, right? But you do see a bit more buying action in assets like XRP. So I'm like, okay, you do have to look what the market is doing. You see Bitcoin in the same state. You see Ether in the same state. So people are trying to buy these more. So the question is, how much of this is going to impact in the market to the upside? Because people can right now think, okay, you're going to drop on a macro, you're going to drop to 10,000, 12,000. That's the argument there, right? But then you are going to look at positive side. Say, okay, the market is dropping. I do see there is a lot of negative sentiment in the market and it cannot get worse than this. But this is the price action. There is 40% probability in my thought like this is happening. Because whenever you look at the moving average, as we discussed before, we've noticed something. We learned something, right? What is that? When you get the cross like this, you get the price action moving to the opposite direction. And if that's true, like you cross to the downside, the price action went to the upside. You cross to the upside, price action went to the downside here on a local top. So if that's happening, you're going to get a short-term bounce. And that can be a relief rally. Even though the CPI came in lower, we did not actually get benefited. Why? Because the FTX screwed up. The regulators screwed up on that even after meeting with them several times. A lot of these institutions are investing in them, but it's not strong right now. The market can actually drop. So guys, if you are here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you received value. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.